Hi, I'm Boris. Today, I will talk about DynamoDB Table Design. Before I dive into the detail of designing a table for DynamoDB, I want to emphasize that DynamoDB is a key and value pair NoSQL database. The design concept is completely different from traditional relational database. So I need to talk about the difference between relational database and DynamoDB first. For designing relational database, I need to first model the entity relationship. But for DynamoDB, you need to first know the data access or query pattern. The data access pattern will definitely affect how you decide the key and the index. I will create a game leaderboard. Therefore, I should decide the key and the index based on the information that I want to query. I will show you the detail later. The second thing I want to let you know is that it's just like relational database. DynamoDB also has a primary key, but the primary key in DynamoDB consists of partition key and an optional short key. You usually query based on the primary key. Let me explain what is partition key. DynamoDB stored data in different partitions, and the DynamoDB uses an internal hash function with the partition key to find in which partition the data item is stored. For the short key, it shows how the data are sorted for certain partition keys. The third thing is dynamic schema. DynamoDB table does not have a fixed schema. It is unlike traditional relational database, which has fixed columns and attributes. Each item in DynamoDB could have different attributes. Some may have more attributes, while some items may have less attributes. The fourth difference we need to note is that there is no join operation in DynamoDB. In relational DB, we usually have many tables which are normalized. We will usually use join to select all these tables in relational database. But in the world of DynamoDB, we usually have one table for certain use case. As a general design principle, we usually use as few tables as possible. Let's look at an example. I will try to model the leaderboard, a game leaderboard for the relational database first, and we will see a difference in DynamoDB later. We first have a user table which stores the game player info. We use the user ID, which is the email address, as a primary key. There is another table, the game score table, which stores the top score for each type of game for a certain player. There is a foreign key to link between the user table and the game score table. We can use SQL statement to join these two tables by the user ID to get all the information we need. This is a very typical relational database table design. Now, let's look at the DynamoDB table design. Let's first put all the user info items in the table. I have chosen user ID as the partition key. For the short key, I just give the name SK. It is a general name, then I put the top score data into the table. I assign the game name as the short key. Therefore, in this way, we can query the top score of the game, for example, FIFA, played by Messi, by using the partition key equal to messi@mail.com and the SK equal to FIFA. Okay, you may say that, wait, Boris, we are designing a game leaderboard. How can we get the top score for each game if we design the key like that? Okay, actually I haven't finished all the things. Here I want to introduce another features of DynamoDB, that is the Global Secondary Index, GSI. GSI is an index with partition key and short key that can be different from those original keys from the base table. This means that I can define another attribute as the partition key and the short key. Let's go back to our example. We can use SK as the partition key and the top score as the short key for this GSI. This means that we can query by SK equal to FIFA to get a list of players sorted by the top score. That is the way we can achieve the leaderboard table design. Okay, now let's go to the AWS console and I will do a demo to see how I can build a leaderboard table in DynamoDB. This is the AWS Management Console. Creating a DynamoDB table is super easy. Let's go to the DynamoDB page and type DynamoDB here. To create a DynamoDB table, I just click Create Table here. Then I need to provide the name, the table name. I provide the name leaderboard. As seen in the previous example, I use user ID as the partition key. For the short key, I just give a generic name SK. For other setting, I just leave it default, and then I click Create Table button. We can see that the leaderboard table has been created successfully. Now, I want to add some item to the table. I can select the leaderboard table and then click Action, Export Items. From here, I can create item. I just add the item in an example. For user ID, it is the email address of the player. I will first add the player info and then add some attributes. Username, and also the location. I add a player C Ronaldo and it is from the Portugal. Then I click Create Item. I will create more items. After adding the user info, I will add the item score, the game score. I add the score for Ronaldo. He play a FIFA mobile game. And for top score attributes, I specified the number type. And also I add the score date. The item is actually a JSON document. Then I click create item. I create one more score for another game. Maybe play the NBA game. Then click create item button. I add one more player. This time is Messi. The SK is same as the user ID. The username L Messi. I put it. And the location, it just come from Argentina. Okay, I click the create item button. And I add one more score. Messi also played the FIFA game. I add the top score. And one more attributes, the score date. Okay, click create item button. You can see that I have created 5 items here, and 2 out of the 5 items is the user info, and the other are the score data. So I can now query the top score of a particular games for a particular user. Then for user ID, for example, I want to query the score for Messi, the score for the FIFA game. We can query the top score for player Messi of the game FIFA by using the partition key and the short key here. Now I want to add the GSI, the global secondary index, so that we can build the leaderboard. Now I'm back to the table setting. And I click the indexes tab. I click create index. As you remember, I'll use the partition key, SK as the partition key. For the short key, we use top score because we want to sort the list according to the score, according to the top score. Okay, then I click create index. The GSI is creating. It takes some time for the DynamoDB to create a global secondary index. Okay, the GSI has been created. You can see the status is active. So now we can go back to export the items, and this time we can query by the GSI. I select the index, the SK top scroll index, that is the GSI. This time I can query by the SK. I want to show all the top score of the fever game. So I input fever here and then I click 1. All the top scores for the fever, for the game fever, has been listed here, and I can click the sorted in descending order and then click 1. So you can see that the item is ordered by the top score in descending order. That's it. This is the end of the demo. You can see that we can easily build a game leaderboard by the DynamoDB. I hope you liked this video. Thank you for watching.